Hi there, my name is Kendrick, and welcome to another ENFP male interview. Today, I get to interview Darryl. So, welcome, man.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good, dude. Good to have you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Likewise.
So, Darryl, can you give us what your full type is?
Yeah, I'm a jumper INFJ, and that's basically, to be more exact, it's like MF, uh, NITI, sleep, blast, play, consume.
All right, dude. So, when you got your results back, what did you think and how did you feel?
Um, well, one of my friends, Natasha, she already guessed it perfectly. So I was like already kind of used to the idea because Eminem's INFJ, so I was already kind of like, oh, this is great, cool. But I didn't necessarily agree with it. I thought I was INTP, so I was pretty shocked. But mainly at the order of my animals, though. I was like, how am I not consumed first? I don't get understand. Yeah,
Let's start with let's start with you being a double decider. So, you're balanced with self and tribe, and and, and, and that means you have no fear when it comes to people. I mean, shyness and fear are different things, right? Um,
I
how do
guess.
you experience that personally, like being balanced with self and tribe?
Um, I looking back on it, I have noticed like on the spectrum of people that are scared to talk, I'm not that bad off. Like I'm a lot better than I realized I was. But I do look for a tribe at some point. I am pretty nice to people. And I just try to communicate with them as much as I can. And I don't know, it just I always thought that I was like scared of people. Situation like I was just demon fe, like fe fourth. I thought I was just the worst of the worst. But on the spectrum, I found myself being very comfortable with making jokes, admitting things, and just being completely honest about my feelings with people. And I realized at some point, oh, a lot of people can't do that. So I don't know.
Yeah, man, for sure. Like that's the first thing I noticed when you got on the video call is that like you were so chill, like you're just like chill as hell. And I was like, okay, no fear of people. Just like, sometimes I interview single deciders and I can see
Yeah.
them like being a little bit like, you know, shaky and stuff. And there's like their nerves are like kicking in. But then when I interview like IJs and EPs, they're usually for the most part, they're like, oh yeah, they're pretty chill, like
Right. That's interesting. Who knew?
so let's go over your functions first, and then we'll go over your animals. But I will kind of mix and match when I ask you those questions. So let's start with your feminine NI. Your first function is feminine NI, and they say that feminine NI tends to forget the concepts and patterns they've organized. How do you experience feminine NI personally?
um, I do forget a lot of things. I forget a lot of times, like when I even talk to people, I forget whole conversations. Like I have some of the worst memory when it comes to just the intuitive land. Like that's why I have to write a lot of things down, put it in the sensory. Like, because if not, I'm not gonna necessarily remember it. So I kind of go through life with a lot of repressed memories, and it's kind of annoying. But now that I'm aware of it, I try to make sure I write things down. Like if I read something, I have to write it down. You know, but now that I know, I feel a lot better about it.
I think the good thing about I like what you said there when you called it repressed memory because you haven't forgotten it. It's there. You just
Yeah,
for some reason you can't recall it.
yeah, it's in my subconscious. Like I know I'm keeping track of it somewhere. It's just it's hard to just dial into it off a whim.
Well, have you noticed that when someone brings it back up, that concept that you've forgotten, you're like, oh, yeah, I remember that. How did I forget that? Like, has that ever happened to you?
um, Sometimes, but it's not so often, really. I would say it's more like somebody has to really like be with the intent of like making me remember something, and then I'll remember like, oh yeah, that must have happened on this day or something like that. Because I remember something else that happened that day. But yeah, it has to be like intentionally done. I don't think I usually just remember things like that I forget. Sometimes though, I can remember some certain things that I was like conceptualizing or just doing in general. If I like smell a certain smell, like a certain nostalgic smell, something like that. Um, but yeah, I'm just not the best, I guess, with the intuitive memory, whatever you want to call it, feminine and I.
And your feminine NI is also double activated. How do you experience double activated NI personally? Like, are you just on NI land all day?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I always wanted to talk about this. Like, I never really understood it, but see, I was so in the NI that I didn't really know I was in the NI. So I couldn't even see it for the longest time. I never looked at it like it was a superpower. I thought it was just kind of like the way everybody kind of looked at life or saw life through a lens. But it was like for example, like when people are talking, my mind will like, I don't know if you know what an edit is, like an edit or AMV. It's like when custom music is playing over a background or something like that, and it's made with the intent of I guess being cool or something like that, right? I would kind of go on these like AMV like daydreams, like when people are talking to me, and it was like that's the intuitive land, and it's like that's where I'm usually at when I'm doing something. I'm just kind of always there, and I thought that was just normal, but apparently it's not. I don't know. Hope I'm not confusing you or anybody watching this.
Well, I mean, that could explain how you ended up being consumed last, because like you said that someone's talking to you, but you're like in your own world, right? So
Yeah, literally, yeah, definitely.
yeah, you're exactly the same type as Casey Neistat.
Oh man,
Uh, how do you feel about that? Like,
I don't know that guy that well, but I think I respect that he's a YouTuber. I respect that he has a following, and you know, I don't know much about him, like his content really, but seems like a cool dude.
yeah, because he's your exact type twin, right? Like, so
Yeah. Also, Sad Guru is too.
oh, right, right, yeah.
I was really like, what? Like, I didn't want to go down this list because like the INFJ jumper list is just so much of a flex, man. Like all the people on it, like Jesus Christ, man. Like literally Jesus Christ. Like,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jesus is your type. Your
yeah,
gene.
I'm like, yo, heck you know. Eminem too, the best rapper in the world. Like,
Well, Eminem
um,
is sleep consumed, so it's not exactly you.
yo, yeah, not the exact type, but he's still an INFJ jumper. I was just like, whoa, like
Well,
this is crazy.
Snoop Dogg also, right?
Yeah, him too. Yeah, he's chill. I like Snoop.
Yeah,
Really good personality, funny dude. I was just
yeah,
like, whoa.
yeah. Except Eminem is double masculine, and Snoop is masculine feminine. So you're closer to Snoop than Eminem, because Eminem
Yeah,
has like super aggression to the tribe, right?
yeah, very true. I love it though.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's good stuff. You have double activated feminine extrovert feeling. How do you experience extrovert feeling personally?
um, I always felt like it was something I never respected. Like, I just never respected emotions more or less. Never really had my priorities straight. It was just like cat energy, you know? Like I got the what is that? I think it's the masculine T or I don't know what it is, but whatever the case may be, it's feminine FE, and I always kind of saw it as like my cat energy because I can get like built up with stress from the tribe, and then it comes out eventually. Even though I'm usually not, you know, aggressive with the tribe or like coming at the tribe. Once the tribe gets at me for so long and so long, it's like eventually just comes out, however it comes out. But I don't know. I just never really I always thought I had bad FE. So I've been making it my business ever since I learned about OPS to make sure I'm actively using it when I can and when I should, and just trying to be more knowledgeable about when to use it, when to shut up, when to just let people flow.
All right, so let's go over the parts of extrovert feeling, and then you can tell me how you personally experience those parts. Let's
Okay.
start with the tribe values. So the tribe with extrovert feeling, there's a tribe value spectrum, and what is socially acceptable. And people with extrovert feeling tend to adhere to those social values and social acceptability. just so you know, you don't come across awkward, you don't alienate anyone, everyone feels good, everyone's feeling
Yeah.
nice. How do you personally use that? I mean, you have demon FE, but it's double activated, so it's kind of like it's almost even stronger than your your TI just because it's double activated. How do you
Yeah.
personally relate to that? Social values and whatnot.
I kind of see like the social values, the societal norms, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I see a lot of hypocrisy in the tribe, so I don't tend to really value most things from the tribe. Um, I know how to blend in if it comes down to it. It's a lot of the reason why I change what I wear when I go certain places because I just know what'll be accepted. I know what doesn't stand out, so that's how I kind of navigate through the world using my FE and just trying to blend in as much as possible. But a lot of that stuff, the societal tribe values, whatever, I don't see them as something I personally value. But I'll lie about it all day. I'll tell you I value whatever you value. Like I don't care. It makes me no difference. If you like it, I love it. Go ahead. Live and let live.
I like how that you said that because extrovert feeling has always been accused by David Chan as like the liar function.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because you're
sure.
totally lying in people's face. Like you're like someone, like for example, someone's like wearing like some kind of outfit and it looks horrible. You'll be like, yeah, you look great. It's like just to maintain the harmony and the vibe, right? But
Yeah,
then
of course.
but in your head, you're like thinking, you're like, oh my god, what the hell is that shit? Like
Yeah, I mean, like, but you gotta think though, like, what's the alternative? You nitpick them to death, and you get into an argument about it. Like, are you that so strung up on your values that you can't, you know, use critical thinking? Like, okay, let me just relax. Like, it's
yeah.
nothing's good gonna come of this. I'm just gonna let them do them. The tribe's gonna tell you anyways what you look like. So what do I have to do it for? I'm just another member. I don't have to be the guy to break your feelings. Or
Right.
your feelings.
Yeah, I
Oh,
guess you're not
I don't like
responsible for
that
the
shirt
tribe.
you have on. It's like, why would I tell you that when I know one of these guys already thinking that, and
Yeah.
they're probably someone's gonna tell you eventually, like one of your friends, somebody. It doesn't have to be me.
So I guess I think your video camera is frozen, but
Oh man, I can't hear you. I
can you hear me?
think it's glitching or something.
Yeah, I
Trying
can
to wait
hear
it out.
you, but your camera has froze, so we'll just oh there we go, it's back to normal
Yeah,
now.
cool.
Okay. Anyways, I like how having things problem, like typical like single observer having things problem. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah. But I like how I think that's how you end up being type a self above tribe because you're like, hey, you know what? I'm not responsible for the tribe. Whatever, I'll just give them what they want so they can like, fuck off and then I'll do my own thing, like
Oh yeah.
yeah.
It's easiest.
Yeah. So you are using your FE, but it's not like, yeah, I'll give you what you want, but like not to like not because not because you want to be responsible for them, but just like so that you can go back to your own thing. You don't want the spotlight on you.
Yeah, most definitely don't want the spotlight on me. Not like that. Like I'd rather just give them positive encouragement. It's a way to work, even if you have a negative opinion about somebody, you can word it a certain way to where they won't even look at it like it's a negative thing. So if it comes down to it, I will give you some criticism, but I'll do it in a certain way where it's like sugar coated enough that you actually receive it. So it's time and a place.
It's hard to say that because you kind of have to gauge who you're talking to because for some people
Yeah.
like, a sugar coating thing does not work at all. Like they'll have to get upset that you're sugar coating. But then for some people you have to sugarcoat a lot, otherwise nothing's gonna get through. So it's like a lot of double deciding there. You have to really like read the situation, otherwise you know.
Yeah, that's relatively pretty easy. Like I at work I usually talk to like older people, so it's like most of the time they prefer like the sugar coating in my personal experience. I'm not judging all older people, just the ones that I've interacted with. They prefer the sugar coating, in a respectful kind of situations. And in general, I don't really run across a lot of people that have a problem with the sugar coating. Um, I think that's a little bit more uncommon. Isn't that like a little bit more TI?
Right. Talk about being self above tribe.
It's in the name, man. It's in the title. I love the tribe. Don't get me wrong, but I can't I can't follow the herd. I just simply cannot trust another person to to let me live my life. Like to tell me how to live my life. I have to decide that for myself and live with the consequences and whatever comes with it. But I'm just not, I'm not looking for the tribe really. I'm not really chasing the tribe too much.
Okay, well, I'm tribe above self, so I do have some questions for you in regards to your thought process when you're doing things for yourself. So for me, because I'm tribe above self, what I noticed is that because I'm still a double decider, it's like 40-60, right? So I'm aware of what I want and what I want to do, but I'm constantly, I'm always feeling the social pressure, like I need to find a way to like do what I want, but I have to like weave around the tribe. It's not like a straight, A to B. It's more like A is me, B the tribe, and C is what I want. So it's not, there's like a lag time before I can get to C. But I noticed with people who are self-about tribe, it's a straight A to B. And if you want to do stuff for the tribe, then that's when you kind of have to take another step. So how do you, when you want to do something for yourself, and it's a big life decision, okay? I know small decision, anyone can do stuff for themselves if it's a small decision. Like for example, oh, I want to eat this sandwich today. Okay, I have no problem just going there. I don't need tribe permission, right? But if it's like a big life decision, then I usually have to ping with the tribe. But for you guys who are self-above tribe, it doesn't seem like you really need to ping off the tribe as much, maybe a little bit after you've already made up your mind. But how do you personally do it? Like, how do you personally like, okay, this is a big life decision. I'm gonna go jump into that. I don't need to check on the tribe first. But I'll tell the tribe later on because you're still a double decider. But
Yeah.
you didn't ask their permission or their opinion. You just did it first, and then later you told them about it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like to ask anybody for permission really, but it's just you gotta just kind of trust that people know your intent to a certain degree. You know, obviously it's not all about intent, but even if you're let's say your tribe over self, I would say that we all know already. If we know you, we already know what kind of person you are. You're a good hearted guy. You don't have to try so hard. You don't have to do all this stuff for us. Like, what about you? I care about the individual. So it's like, okay, I look at life and I see the individual. I don't really care about what the tribe's doing. I care about this individual that I'm talking to. So, I'm always going to advocate for them doing what's best for themselves, because you got to think about it. No one's going to treat you like you treat yourself, and no one's ever going to love you as much as you can love yourself. So it's like, why would I not invest my time and energy into myself? Like, the tribe is going to move anyways. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. You can't control that, but you can control yourself, have self-discipline and self-love, and do what's best for you for the next day. It's a lot of ways around it, but that's just kind of how I look at it. I don't know if I answered your question exactly right, but I don't know.
Dude, I love it. I love your NF blast. That was so good. I think
Thanks, man.
you definitely have it in the savior state. Like no wonder you got typed as a sleep blast. Talk about your NF blast. I know you just demonstrated it perfectly. But it's double feminine and it's double activated. How do you personally like see it? It's very nice sounding. So double feminine, like with Dave, he has double feminine NT blast, so it's very nice. Like when he blasts, it sounds very nice. Like how do you
Right.
personally like do NF blast?
Um, I'm not really sure. I think it just I think the best compliment I ever got was like I should be a motivational speaker, or like I should be like a philosophy teacher or something like that. And I just was like, whoa. But I just look at it like NF blast is like how I communicate with the tribe, but it's not too pushy. I don't want to like bore you to death. I don't want to preach to you. I just want you to understand that there are other options out there, and that that if you don't give up on yourself, there's a lot of different things that you can accomplish. I think it just all comes down to mindset, really. And it's okay to take time for yourself. It has to be some kind of a balance. If you're going all in on the tribe, what about yourself? You're not going to be of any use to anybody if you're going all in for the tribe. You have to go back, dial it back, take some time for yourself, and vice versa. So I just want to help as much as I can without being preachy and corny.
Right. I think what I can see with your blast compared to like a standard INFJ is that your blast before you do the NF stuff, you do the sugar coating, you make it sound as pleasant as possible, and you do pump up people. Like I felt like what you said earlier, it felt really nice to hear it. But I feel like before you got there, you did the Ni-Ti first. Like you did the kind of like self-processing first, coming from a deep point of rational thought instead of just pure emotion. And then you took that rational thought and then you like sprinkled like the niceness and the motivationalness and the feel
Yeah,
goodness, and then you delivered it afterwards. So
yeah, definitely. Because you got to think like, what's the meta of this whole situation? Like, we're on YouTube or wherever we are, Zoom, whatever. And the people that are watching this, anybody watching this is probably not the most happiest individual. They probably have not accomplished their dreams entirety. And I think it's important to motivate people. I think it's important to let people know that they can do anything they want to do, and that as long as they don't give up, it's better to live your life striving for your goals, and just to motivate them and push them forward to that. Because I see a lot of people that have put their goals on the back burner to take care of family, to do whatever they had to do. But it's like, I just want to, I guess I want to let them know that it's okay to be wherever you are in life. Just don't give up. I think that's the most important message, more or less. Think positively. Try do whatever you can. But see, I don't want to sound too corny, so it's like, I digress. It's about the people. It's about how we can help them. This could be a good distraction for them. Somebody's at work right now on break. They wanted to watch, Kendrick's new video, whatever. And yeah, I think it's important to touch their hearts, and motivate them, let them know, because I'm assuming most people aren't telling them that, and social media is not telling most people that either. So
I think that's what I like about the NF Plus is like you can connect with people first, and once you build that like emotional connection with someone, then people are more likely to take you seriously because now you built like that emotional connection. You can't go straight to logic first because that's kind of like, huh, who's this person telling me what to do? Like
yeah,
we haven't, like I don't even know you, right? So I think it's nice that I think that's a superpower of it. Just observing you talk about that stuff. And yes, you do sound like a philosopher, or I think you would definitely make a good like a coach, like a one-on-one coach to someone.
oh man, thank you, man, appreciate that.
Yeah, just because you have the wisdom that you've already processed in your head, which brings us a direct transition to your TI. You have masculine TI. You have in a savior state. It's third though in your function stacks order, so the order still matters. How do you personally experience masculine TI?
um I look at it like I just kind of looked at it like how do I look at it? It's like my logic is kind of personal. I like to build it by myself. I don't like to really have too much influence on it. I just look at it like my logic, what makes sense to me, more or less. Um, I can write out any bullshit theories, whatever, I can kind of go with whatever the theory is, and if it makes sense, I'll debate it in my mind. But it's no reason for me to like make my assessment known to others. It's like, yeah, I don't think this is real. I think this is kind of bullshit, but do what you want to do. Like there's certain things like certain ideologies, for lack of better words, that I don't agree with, but a lot of people seem to like it. So I just don't say anything. I just go along with it. It's like, you like it, I love it. But TI to me is just like my inner monologue. It's like my thoughts. It's I guess it's processing too, but I never knew. I just always thought. I remember the exact moment that I became conscious. I think too. Like it was crazy. Like I was just watching Dragon Ball Z. Then my first thought was like, yo, haven't I seen this before? And it was so weird to me. I was like, yo, like I was wondering if anybody else had an inner monologue. It was so crazy. But because I found out people didn't. And I was like, yo, this is so bizarre. But it's been good to me.
I find that people that have that inner monologue appears to be like masculine, feminine. It's like auditory. So you hear like voices and speech and stuff happening in your head. So
Oh wow.
it could be that, or like double masculine. I have seen like, I mean, this is not all types, of course, but it's just like it seems like there's a big chunk of masculine feminine that seems to do this, which I think is very fascinating. I think with the visual, they watch movies in their head, but for us, it's like we hear voices and speeches and talking. You talk to yourself, we talk to someone, right?
Yeah.
Now connected to your, so let's go back to the masculine TI before we connect it to NT. TI is also responsible for making sure that when someone says something, it's logically consistent, right? I have FI, so for me, I'm looking for behavioral consistency. So when someone's lying, I can tell right away because like something's off with this, like the feeling's not pure. Like like if someone's using FE to like make someone feel good, but it's like I know it's fake. I can tell right away it's fake, right? But
Yeah.
the other FE person can't tell. Now, because you have TI, you do it's the opposite. For you, it's the logic. The logic is what's pure, right? And it must be consistent. So when someone is saying something, and I noticed that during this interview, you like to use the word bullshit, and so bullshit is calling out someone's like lies or when someone's full of crap. Their logical thought process is not accurate. What do you do when you detect that with your TI? Like someone's telling you some stuff, it's like this doesn't logically like add up.
Yeah. I look at it like I'm questioning why people choose to believe what they believe. It's like, I know you believe this, but have you ever even thought, is this actually true? Or are you just willing to go with the flow of whatever information you're told, or whatever the society says is right, or because society will say anything is true, anything is right. It's credibility and everything apparently. But it's just, I always wonder, like, where did you learn this from? Who taught you this? Did your mom tell you this? Did your dad tell you this? Their granddad teach you this? Like, this isn't really your thought. You just got kind of lost in the sauce pretty much. I don't think that's something that you walked towards and was interested in and then decided, this is how I really feel about it. I think you just listened to somebody that had a lot of influence on you, and they just, kind of more or less influenced your way of thinking. And I just don't really see it as a absolute truth. But I mean, what is absolute truth, But I just don't believe it personally. So I'm just like, yeah, that's cool. But whatever you believe is great. Just don't force it on me. That's how I pretty much feel.
I see. So if someone's saying some bunch of crap that you don't believe in, then you don't really care if they do that as long as they don't do it to you. It's not to you. It's okay.
Yeah, like, don't try to force me to change my ideas in favor of your ideas. That's pretty much the concept.
Um, what if they do? So when would you be receptive to it though? Like if someone says something that does make a lot of sense, like how would you distinguish that?
I would probably notice it immediately. And I would ask questions. And then I would ask like where they got their sources from, so I could learn about this further, so I could do some consuming. But I don't know. A lot of this is like it's a lot of people's beliefs are related to fear mainly, you know. And I don't want to get like too deep into the religious stuff really, but I just kind of looked at it like if it was a certain way, I wouldn't have the will I have to debate it. I wouldn't have the will or the gift of intelligence to even see anything but this. If I was really meant to believe this, I would have no choice. I would be programmed this way. Like if I'm meant to drink water, I would be programmed to drink water, and I am. So it's like that's just kind of how I look at it. But that concept right there might not be the most bulletproof, but I digress. I'm just saying, like, people believe a lot of different things, and I'm not responsible for believing what everybody else believes, or
Right.
stating my claim.
Gotcha. Let's go over your next animal, which is NT, Niti. How do you logically do puzzle solving in your head, when you're trying to do something? Because that's going to be the most personal thing to you, is the problem solving. Like that's the one where it's like, I don't care how anyone else solves it. I want to solve it my way. Like the solving part is going to be the most personal part. How do
Yeah.
you personally experience that puzzle solving part?
It can be in small ways, like if I know what a person fears, and I can put enough of the story together, you know, I can kind of figure out what's going on with like minimal details. Like, for example, somebody told me like they had a dream about somebody and they looked very worried, and they were exhibiting very like nervous behaviors. Like, I don't want to tell you about this dream to their partner or whatever. And I kind of like realized, oh, they feared this one thing. So I was like, oh, what'd you have a dream about? She's like, I don't want to tell nobody. It's like, oh, did you have a dream that they cheated on you? And they were like, yes, oh my God. I'm like, oh yeah, it makes sense. Like, why else would you not want to tell them about that? You know, I mean, like, it's a pretty big fear. But I just kind of put stuff together, you know, like I can kind of see like a lot of intention. And I see a lot of people that I look at it like I just kind of see how people got to their conclusions, or and how people got to what they thought. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's understandable. It's like, you know, I can move with it, you know. It's not too crazy.
What made you come to that conclusion based on the example that you gave, that was what you think that they were dreaming about? Like, how did you piece the puzzle together?
It was just kind of like really just like instant. Like, if you know somebody's fear, like, you know, it's kind of hard to forget that. So it's like, if I knew that and they were around this person and they didn't want to share something, they're usually always sharing things. It's like, well, why would this be something you don't want to put out there? It's like, oh, you don't want this to really come into fruition. You don't want this to even have any extra energy behind it. So you don't want to even talk about it. So that's just kind of how it kind of made sense to me in the moment. But just people experience what they experience, but I try to understand it from all points of view, from all angles, before I'm like, oh, this is the one. But a lot of the times it just feels like it's the right answer. So I'll just shoot out in the dark, like, here you go, here's a guess, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so from the sound of how you figured it out, it seems like you were able to figure out because you knew that person's patterns. Like, you already knew that person and you know what they've been doing for, you know, knowing, like, let's say you have a working relationship or friendship with that person.
Yeah.
Based on that, you've already kind of, and they're already inside your box, your NI box, and you know their patterns because they're inside your box. Or, you know, a personal friend or family member, and based on
Yeah.
that, what you know about them, that's how you made a deduction that that's what their dream is about, because you kind of know what they're like. Does it sound about right?
Yeah, because even if it's not somebody I really know that well, I make observations about everybody. So I look at it like, it's kind of like I'm trying to figure them out before I even really know them. Like, I make assumptions about them in my mind, but I don't really ever tell them. I don't see the point in that. It's just because it could be wrong, you know? So it's like I kind of make these things in my mind. And then the more I get to know them, I kind of like do some kind of mental math subconsciously, like, oh, okay, so that they can't be like this because of this reason. So they must be more like this. And it starts to slowly deduct itself until I get an understanding of them, you know?
Right. Okay, that's super interesting how what you're doing there. Um, Dude, you are definitely like intuitive to the max. Like, you are like a pure blood intuitive, you know? Like,
Oh, wow. Thank you. I did not know.
yeah, no, well, I'm like a half blood, because even though I'm an ENFP and I'm lead NE, my second animal is blast, which is ST. So I'm like a half blood. I'm like half N and half S, even though S is my bottom. You know, it's weird. Like, I'm not half blood, but more like three fourth or something.
You're
But
like
you're
a
like a,
hybrid.
yeah, I'm not like a super hybrid. I'm not like a 50-50 hybrid. I'm more like a three fourth,
Oh, okay.
three fourth. You know, because my first two like my first three animal is intuitive, and then one of them is sensory. So I'm just making up numbers, by the way. This is just like a,
Yeah,
it's
I
not
got
real.
you.
But yeah. But yeah, like I said, your first and second animal are both intuitive animals. So it's like, that's why I'm saying you're pure blood, you know, you're like um
Oh,
and also your last animal is your sensory animal. So it's like your two sensory function is like fourth, essentially. Like, it's fourth, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go over your third function, which is play. Your play is SF. How do you personally experience an SF play? So this has nothing to do with logic. It's more like it's the opposite of your NT. It's gonna be like having fun, just being
Yeah.
a complete idiot. Do you like using it? How do you personally use it? Like when you have to go the opposite of your NT, which is now SF.
Right. To me, it kind of feels like suicide almost. Like because it's such a silly function to use sometimes. And if you're too like in your head about, I wonder are they gonna accept me? I wonder are they gonna think I'm weird? You're gonna kind of ruin the vibe, and it's not gonna come off. It's not gonna be real. It's gonna be fake, and it's gonna be forced. So I like to play around, but you can't overthink it. You can't overthink the person. You just gotta be yourself, more or less. And I look at play like recently. I learned about it because I was looking into like what play was, and it was also about like learning from others. And I realized that I have some kind of like ego about that, where it's like I feel like I should already know how to do this. I feel like I should already just be able to do it. But if I'm not able to do it, then I feel like I should just go be alone and figure it out for myself. So I don't want to learn this thing from just any random person that's not even a quote unquote master or expert, more or less. Especially if I have a personal relationship with them, it's like even worse. Like, I don't want to learn, excuse me, I don't want to learn anything from anybody really. Like, I'm good. But I see where that's like been a problem in my life. Like I could have easily learned a lot of skills, but I just did not want to bother somebody and feel stupid, because I feel like that's what it comes down to. Like you don't want to feel stupid, so you don't do the play. You don't want to learn from others, so you just don't want to look stupid. You don't want to ever feel stupid.
Right. Okay, so two thoughts pop in my head. First one is you're always saying you don't want to look stupid. I guess 100% your intelligence is your identity. Like you take pride in your intelligence, and if someone
Yeah,
shits on your intelligence, that would be unacceptable. Sounds about right.
it'd be annoying. Yeah,
Okay, it would irk you. You're still double decider.
yeah,
Okay, so that's the first one. I find that interesting because I have FI inside, so looking stupid to me is like fine. Like, oh yeah, I look like an idiot. Cool, that's fine with me. It doesn't bother me.
that is
Uh,
a blessing, dude. You should be very happy about that.
yeah,
Seriously.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't. It's interesting. Although I'm NT first though. I'm NETE, so I kind of use it as a crutch. But like a
Hey, I mean, you gotta imagine that like you are probably connecting with people way more than I am, and you're willing to drop your guard around people way more than I am probably. So it's something I want. I want to have that quality. So
yeah,
I'm envious of you.
yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a superpower, but I just like I said, looking stupid. I kind of like looking stupid. I think it's funny. It's amusing. But let's
Right.
go, let's go to your SF. Um, so you say you don't want to learn from people, but the thing is, here's the interesting kicker here with your SF play. You're not going to be the smartest when it comes to SF because you're not SF. You're NT first. So in fact, because your play is SF means you're going to be gathering what's cool from other people. So like what shoes to buy, what shirt to buy, how
Yeah.
to like make yourself look cool, what's trendy right now. That's not something you're gonna figure out. That's something that because it's in a play state, you're gonna be more efficient if you just gathered it from a lead SF, like an ESTP jumper or someone that is lead SF. They can just tell you what it is, and you're like, oh, done. So how
Yeah.
do you feel about that? Do you still feel stupid that you have to go gather what's cool from other people, like find out what's cool, what's trendy, or for that in that sense, it's okay.
I don't feel stupid in that sense. I never really felt stupid about knowing the trends really. I feel like I've always, maybe it's because of my double activated FE maybe, but I I never really felt like I didn't know what was cool. It was always a matter of like, I don't think this is cool. I think everybody's doing this, which makes it less cool, but I can acknowledge it. Like, oh yeah, you guys like the Nike sweats, you guys like the Gucci belts, you guys like the Pink Dolphin shirts, whatever. I just kind of got an understanding of what it is, and what the new stuff is, and I just kind of see it. I track the patterns pretty easily. It's like I know what's cool, but or what's desired, but I always knew what it was. I just never really identified with it. I never really. I looked at it like if I was to follow what they were doing, it was like trying to fit in. And now I look at it like that was when I was a kid, at least. But now I look at it like sometimes it's better to blend in on a like animal level, because when you're someplace it's foreign, they're gonna give you a certain benefit of the doubt because of the way you dress. If you look familiar, you have a better chance of not being messed with, more or less. You know?
Right. Yeah, that's a good truth right there.
Yeah.
I had some thought process about the SF that I wanted to ask you about. So I noticed this with INFJs in general. So I think your camera froze again.
Oh, English. Like,
Can you hear me or see me? Okay, well, just wait for it to come back.
still can't hear you.
It will eventually come back. It's just
One more.
there's some lag. So just give it a second, and hopefully it goes back to normal. Oh, there we go. We're back now. Okay, awesome.
Oh yeah.
Can you see me now and hear me?
Yeah, I can see and hear you now.
Okay, awesome.
Just real quick, just to sum that up, it's basically when in Rome, do what the Romans do.
Right.
That's the whole concept. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I noticed something with INFJs that I find very fascinating. Just because I'm an ENFP, so I tend to attract a lot of INFJs. Like I work in the fitness industry, and a lot of my clients have been an INFJ for some reason. Like I can't even imagine how many Ni-Ti INFJs I had as a client, or NIFEs. So I tend to connect with you guys better though, the NITI, because I'm NET, so we both speak the same language, like which is the NT. The one thing I noticed with the INFJs though is when it, play is a back and forth ping, right? And whenever an INFJ would give me a gift, it's always something like cool and physically concrete, So it's almost like you thought about like what's cool and then you gave it as a gift, Like, so do you see yourself doing that when you're like, do you like to give gifts to people and like trying to find out what's cool and then you give it to that person, or
I like to look at their what they value. If I can make it special, then let's go with something special, something that's tailored to you. I don't want to give you something that maybe the next person might like, but what about you? So it's like I want to make sure whatever I give you, it's something that you will actually use, something that you'll actually value. But yeah, that's great. The people that are doing that.
Is it because you are an ITI, and if someone gives you a gift, you would like them to give you something that they thought about, like that they know that you would actually like? Is it some like along those lines?
I would like that. I don't know if that's related really, but I would like if somebody gave me a gift, that it'd be something that I would like.
Now, the kind of gifts do you like? Is it like, do you want something that's popular and trendy, or something that's useful because you're TI?
I'm going for useful every time. Like if someone else, like hypothetically, right? If somebody was to give me like some kind of like musical equipment or microphone, something like that, like I was like, oh, this is cool, like oh snap, that's actually something I would use. But if it was something like I don't know, like what is it, some kind of gift card to some cool place,
Like a movie?
like like I don't need that. It's cool, I'll use it, why not? It's great, it's free, but it's not gonna have much value in the long run.
So something useful is your preferred choice of gift, something that you can use.
Yeah, or an experience, like like going somewhere,
Or
like
like a vacation then?
I mean, I don't even expect that out of people, but that would be kind of cool. Yeah, it'd be super cool.
All right.
Unexpected.
So here's what I find interesting about NI versus SI. So SI is more the physical box, NI is more like a conceptual box, right?
Right.
When it comes to traveling, I noticed that a lot of NI people love to travel as long as it's inside the NI box. Okay, as long as travel is inside the NI box. But like people with SI, they might not want to leave the confinement of like the four walls, because that's what they want to
Yeah.
be in. How do you personally, because as an IJ, gathering new experiences is going to be the most difficult thing that you will probably avoid in your life, like new, right? Especially
Yeah.
you consume last.
Yeah.
But what if do you like traveling, for example, and that's a new experience? How do you it's like a weird contradiction,
Yeah, it is. I do like them, but I don't necessarily like I'm not pressed for it really. Like if I go, it'd be great, but I've never once in my life ever decided like, let's go to the nearest state. Let's go and see what's out there. It's like I already kind of know what's out there. It's stuff out there. It's stuff everywhere, Like it's not that crazy. But if it was a flight though, where I don't have to drive, it could be cool too. But like I said, I would never think to really do that just for myself. Like to me, that's one of those hobbies that should just wait for later in life or whenever you have, you know, um, financial freedom more or less, like where you can do it to your heart's content.
Right.
Because I don't want to just travel one spot. I want to go across the world. I want to see certain spots, certain really unique spots that I've seen in the world. Places in Tokyo. Um, where's the other one at? Is it Singapore? It's a lot of cool spots in the world. India, especially. India is sick, man. They have some crazy stuff out there. Like I hear a lot about like there's a lot of weird spiritual stuff out there, like people that are like hovering or like levitating off the ground. I'm like, how are y'all like why is India like the hot spot for this? I want to see what's out there. And the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is sick. I've heard a lot about it since I was a kid. Always wanted to know what was out there. But I digress, It's certain spots in my IJ box that I'm like, I'm hyped to go.
Right. That's interesting how you were saying all that stuff. Um, okay. Oh, I've actually been to a lot of the places that you've mentioned already. So
You have?
yeah, well, I've been to 89 countries. So it's
Holy shit, man. God damn.
yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah,
Congrats, dude.
yeah. Thanks, dude. Well, I have two YouTube channels. I have this one. I have a travel YouTube channel. So travel's like my main thing. Um,
Got you.
but
That's amazing. Wow.
thanks, dude. But yeah, man, when I went to India, the first thing I noticed, I don't know if you know the Enneagram, but
Yeah, I'm familiar.
like I was in the airport lining up. I was like, holy shit, there's so many type fours here. Like,
Oh,
oh my God, everyone that's going to India are exactly the same people. They're all trying to be unique and different. I go to a lineup, I'm like, how many fucking people in this lineup has pink hair?
yeah.
How many foreigners? Like, this is so, no offense, pathetic. It's so
Right.
pathetic. Like, I'm like, oh my God, not to burst your bubble. I mean, India was a great place. I actually enjoyed my time there. But like when I saw the kind of people that went there, I was like, oh my God, it's all the same people. They're all INFJs, no offense to you, but ENFJs and ENFJs. And I was like, oh my God, they're all intuitives. Like I remember I stayed in this hostel when I was in India, and every single person in the hostel was an intuitive. I was like, no wonder I got along with everyone
Wow.
because they're all speaking my language.
Yeah.
And I was like, geez. So like when you said that you thought it was so cool, I'm like, yeah, you and all the millions of INFJs that goes there. My sister's an
Yeah.
INFJ. She's like, yeah. I was like, geez. So it's like NF hippie land. But
Yes.
but so India's correlated as to a spiritual place. But
Yes.
if you talk to spiritual people, they would tell you that the spiritual capital it's no longer in India. It's in
Really?
it's now in Peru. So where the Incas
Gotcha.
are, the Machu Picchu and all that stuff. So ayahuasca,
Okay.
I don't know if you heard of the ayahuasca. Yeah, so
No, I haven't heard of that.
you never heard of ayahuasca? The thing you drink and then you go this weird like
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah. I thought it was pronounced a little bit differently, like Ayawash. I don't know. Maybe I'm saying it
that's
wrong.
how you spell it. Ayahuasca is how you spell it, but
Oh, okay,
that's
got
not
you.
how you pronounce it. Like
Got you. Okay, that makes sense.
The H is silent. Yeah, yeah,
Got you. Okay.
yeah. Okay. Um. All right,
That's
man.
amazing, dude.
That's interesting. Now, so I
Wait,
like
so
how
like
you I like how you're imagining.
okay.
Sorry, I know you're imagining a lot of these places in your head.
Yeah.
Have you actually been to some place like extremely like super different from the US. Like so like it'll almost like get you to the point where you get like a shock, like a sensory shock. Have you ever been to a place like that before?
No, I've never been outside the States.
Oh, never. Okay. All right.
Nah, not yet.
Typical American.
Yep, typical American.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I remember I went to Colombia and I met like three 55-year-old Americans. It was their first time leaving their country. And I saw their eyes was like wide open. They're like, why didn't I do this sooner? Like,
Yeah.
like they're like, there's so much, it's like such a shock, right?
Yeah.
This brings me into the perfect transition. Consume last, your consume last, ST consume last. So your consume is gathering facts, right? And I'll tie it back to that idea in a second. But
Okay.
your consume last, you kind of have an imagination in your head of how the world is. But the opposite of that is ST. Like, what is the cold hard facts? Not what you thought of in your head, but the cold hard facts. This is going to be your weakest animal. Talk about the problems that you have with like validating all these crazy ideas that you have in your head to make sure that not all the like. So NE is like intuition is definitely crazy because sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong, right? It's like a roll of a dice. But the SE validates which idea is right. But because you have ST is in the bottom, how often or how not or are you not validating those ideas that you have? Like when do you do that?
That's a difficult question, really. I would say that I don't look at life like it has to adhere to facts, really. Like I never looked at life like that. I always looked at it like at any given moment, life as I know it can be gone, it can be changed. Like literally, like the skies can turn pink, purple, just glitch out of existence. Like I never looked at it like it was gonna always stay blue with white cloud. You know, I never looked at it like that, and I still don't, because I don't think it's any real. I don't really just trust history. You know, I don't trust just because it was always like that. It's gonna always be like that. Like I was only here, you know, for 24 years. Like I don't know what happened before. I have to rely on people that told me about it. You know, but I don't think that things are gonna just stay the same forever. You know, that's why I'm kind of excited for like the afterlife, because it's like I'm assuming it's not gonna be the exact same. That would be kind of boring, you know, just a little bit, you know.
But you're an IJ, you like the exact same.
I know, but I mean, it's just you don't want to get too stuck in it. Like, come on now, like, don't you want something a little exciting, a little bit different? Like, I can justify like, oh, I love my favorite restaurant. It's my favorite restaurant, but eventually, I'm thinking like, well, maybe there's a better restaurant somewhere in the world. You know, let's maybe find that.
I see. So when you're seeking for new, you want new sensory experience. That's the sound of like what?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I look at it sensory like it could be amazing. You know, just you can get lost in that land too. Like just thinking about the potential sensory of a certain situation.
Right.
Yeah.
So according to Dave, who's exactly the same animal stack as you, like you guys have the same animals. You know, he's a sleep blast, you know, play consume also, right? I don't know if you knew that, you know.
Yeah, I knew that. He's INTJ jumper.
Yeah, yeah, but he's also like you, like sleep blast, play consume.
Right, okay.
So he was talking about like the biggest mistakes he made in his life. And he said that when he was younger, one of the biggest mistakes is he got married too young. I think he got married when he was 21. So he tried to close the door right away instead of like gathering. So he actually said that in your 20s, you should go 100% all out gathering facts and experiences, like 100%, like be an EP, because you have nothing to build on if you don't have the materials, right? And gathering is essentially gathering materials, whether that be factual materials or physical materials. So if you don't have any materials to work with, then your building is not going to be at its best integrity or best
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, development.
So because you need these young to build off of.
Yeah, exactly. So you're still young, and just from what I'm hearing from you, like you like earlier, you were so excited when you're talking about like oh, I'm gonna go to India and check out like the levitation, or check out Japan. They might have like some sick places there, like
Yeah.
what if you actually did go there? What if you use your NT to hack your way to go there? Because actually cheap to fly. I can fly to those places for like $80, and it's like,
Oh, sweet.
because like I in my YouTube channel, I teach people only in Canada though, how to travel hack. I'm a travel hacker, so I know how to hack travel,
Swag.
where I can like fly anywhere for like $100, like
That's awesome, dude. More power to you.
Right, exactly. But what I found though is because I took a year off to go backpacking around the world, and when I came back, I did have more tools to play with. Like I'll give you a concrete example of like tools. Um, I live in Thailand and Colombia and like several other places around the world, and I noticed that you can live there for like less than $1,000, and you have really good internet, and the food is really good, and like because the cost of living is so low, I don't have that constraint of finances essentially. So I can do stuff that I want. If I wanted to build something, I can. Let's say I want to build an online business. If you go to Thailand, for example, it's a hub for digital nomads where people from the US, Canada, Australia, UK, all the westernized countries, they'll go there, they have a job, build up a big savings, like let's say 20 grand, move to those countries, and they can live there indefinitely and build up their online business. And because the cost of living is so low, your operational cost is so low that you have the freedom and the time to go build on that thing that you want to build. And
Wow.
so that's kind of like the things that I'm finding as I travel, is that like, wait a minute, like I'll give you another concrete example. I was in Colombia, I was doing volunteer work in a hostel, and the hostel was owned by an American. And the first thing that all the visitors, that all the backpackers and travelers that came to the hostel, the first thing that they would say, and they would ask the owner, is like, how do I invest in real estate here? Because they're looking around and they're seeing like opportunities everywhere, like cheap real estate, amazing environment, GDP growth to the like really high in Colombia right now. So what I'm trying to say is, when you start gathering, you can see opportunities that you don't have available in the US where you live, or for me, Canada, and we can leverage our resources here to be used. And if you use it in another country, there's almost like a multiplier effect, it's not like, it's not like, 1+1 = 2. It's more like, 1+1 = 10. I know that's not mathematically correct, but that's just a concept. That's what I'm trying to say.
I get you.
Right.
That's really, really something you said there, man. Like, I never looked at it like that. Honestly, I never would have even assumed that was out there. But that's something we should definitely link up about, because I'm definitely interested in learning like the exact name of it, like so I can research it. That's interesting.
Right. So, well, that's cool that you have the ST. So what I'm trying to see from you is, once your NITI thinks it makes logical sense, then you want to do the ST. So the ST, you do have access to ST, but the concept has to be really like powerful. Otherwise, you're not going to bother with the ST. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, because it was powerful because it was your direct sensory experience, and I never heard anything like that. I've heard from people that that travel that it's a really good experience, but I never really heard too much stuff like this, like something that would actually interest me. Like, oh, the cost of living is so dirt cheap. It's like, if you had enough money, you could just set up shop out there and build your business. Like, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, like for example, in Thailand, I rented a full apartment, a studio apartment, for $300 a month. I had AC, I had internet access, I had ensuite laundry and dryer, and if I wanted to eat, I would literally take the elevator down to the bottom floor, and at the bottom floor, it's full of street food, sensory overload here. All the yummy, delicious Thai food in the world is there. I had
Oh my God, dude.
like fucking like freshly squeezed juice that they'll squeeze in front of you.
Yeah.
I'll have pad Thai with like freshly squeezed juice, and oh, dude, it was so good. It was so good. And I was like, and if I wanted to work, I can go to a co-working space. And if I want to rent like a desk in a co-working space and like a professional co-working space, it was only like $5 a day. If I wanted like a private room, it was only $7. I'll get the private room so I can focus, you know.
To just do your business, whatever.
Yeah, when I had a travel blog, which I still do right now, but I'm not as actively developing it because I noticed that there's more potential with ENFP male. But when I was doing the travel stuff, like I was working as a paid travel blogger at the time too for another blog. I wasn't getting paid a lot, but I was doing it for the experience. And yeah, dude, it was awesome. Like my life there was fantastic. Like I would wake up, go downstairs, have like a fantastic food in like the street food area, and then afterwards I would go take an Uber. The Uber's $2 one way, $2 to Uber somewhere, and I would Uber to the gym, go get my workout in.
Oh my God.
The drop in for the gym was $2 also, and it was like an awesome gym. It had like everything.
Wow.
Like it had like 3 squat racks, has like gymnastics rings, like cardio machines and all that stuff. So I got my workout in, Uber back to my $300 a month accommodation. You know, take a shower, and then afterwards Uber to the co-working space. You know, like I said, just $5, $7 to rent a space, do my work, and then finish up my day in like more street food. You know, like I said, fresh squeezed juice, what skewers, you know, barbecue skewers. And then I was like, dude, in total, I literally just spent like $750 for just 1 month to live, like to have a complete like life, and I have like complete focus to work. That's why a lot of people in westernized country, what they do is they really like build up. They'll work a lot for like a year, you know, let's say build up, you know, 15 to 20 grand worth of savings, and then they can go there and imagine what you can build if you had like a year or two worth of living expenses, and your life is not shit too. Your life is good. You're like, I just told you all like the food you can eat, the gym that you can work out to. If you want to go watch a movie, you can go to the mall. They have a movie theater and stuff, you know. And it's not like there's a lot of foreigners there too, right? So you get exposure to different culture too. It's not just like Thai people. It's like Thai people
I'm
plus
excited.
yeah, right. And this is just one country. There's like a lot of countries that are like this: Thailand, Cambodia, Colombia, Philippines, like all these places. You go to Europe, Portugal is like that too. You know, not as cheap as Thailand, but you know, similar. So there's a lot of places like this where you can like really build up like a business. Like Cambodia, for example, they have not had a recession in the last 30 years, and their growth every year is 9%. Right? They skipped the 2008 economical crisis. You know, they're almost recession proof. It's just like a never ending. They have a growth economy. You know, right now we're in Canada and US. We're kind of like, to be honest, we're in the way down. Like we've already hit the peak. We're now slowly on the decline. If I were to be like completely honest, you know, Europe's even worse. You know, so no offense to the Europeans.
Wow.
I'm not saying it's bad to live in Europe. I'm just saying, you know, the economical growth is not there anymore. Like it's, you know, compared to Asia or South America, you know.
Right.
So, yeah.
Man, I just want to thank you for that. Like you are definitely updating my worldview, and it's really making me like, whoa, I should go consume. Like I need to learn more about this. Like you said it was Thailand, right?
Yeah. Thailand. Yeah.
Thailand. My bad.
I think
Got you.
I think you should try Thailand and Colombia. Those two. That's it. That's just those two. Those are number Colombia for investment, Thailand for living.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think those are the most potential in my. I would say Colombia is number one for potential for investment in the world. But in terms of like, if you want to build an online business and you want like cheap but good living condition, Thailand is your best bet. So
Thailand sounds like a move. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you, man. I'm so happy I took this call. Like seriously.
Yeah. Well, you know, EP and IJ, we work well together.
Yeah, definitely.
Your ST is double masculine. Now that you're looking to like researching, now I can see like your eyes kind of like open up a bit.
Yeah.
What sparked you to suddenly want to consume?
I think it was just like the visuals I was getting in my mind about it, like, you know, what the hotel looked like, what the lobby looked like, what the outside was looking like when they were like offering you all this food and stuff, and the environment being really lively. And I was like, oh man, this would be great. And then you come back and you got, you know, your own space, cheap, good internet. Like, I mean, shit, what else could you really want? Like, yeah, it's a new area. Everything out there is new to you. You know, it could be fun to like explore that, you know, with somebody out there. it's just so, it sounds so amazing. Like, man, I'm just imagining it. It's like, whoa, you know, it sounds so sick. Like, I'm excited to go there.
Yeah, you can dip your toes first. Like there's the thing with Thailand though is the tourist scene and the digital nomad scene are completely different. So you wanna, I think you should try both because like I think if you try both, like I'll give you an example. So when I was in Thailand, the place that I was paying the $300 a month on rent and getting all the street food, that the city is called Chiang Mai, right? It's in northern Thailand and it's a mountainous region, so it's not hot. Like if you go to Bangkok, it's hot there. But Chiang Mai is more laid back. It's more chill. Bangkok is more like high energy. So it depends on what energy you're looking for. They're pretty close to each other, and flying between both cities is only like $20 to fly or something. It's like really cheap to fly. $20. Can you imagine how cheap that is to fly? $20. Air
That's
Asia.
amazing.
Air
Yeah,
Asia,
that's
20 bucks.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. It's cheap to live in Asia because then you can fly between other Asian countries for like 20 to 50 bucks, you know.
Wow.
Here, like if you live in the US and you wanted to go on a road trip, you know, like it will already cost you like what, 100. Oh, you froze again. There we go.
Hello.
I think we're back now. Okay. No, like
Yeah.
like have you ever stayed in a hotel in the US?
Yeah.
Like you know, it costs like at least $100 a night, right, for a hotel there?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
for a decent one. Yeah.
yeah, for a decent one, right? And then like usually you can't fly anywhere because it's too expensive. You would go on road trips instead, right? Um,
Yeah, usually. Yep.
yeah, but in Asia, imagine like okay, it's like a long weekend. I think I'm just gonna go fly to Japan because it's only $50. Why not? You know, or like
Yeah, man.
or like I'll hop over to Philippines, $50 flight, get to Manila. You know, the accommodation is like $20 a night, $30 a night. You know, it's like that's for a good one. That's for a good one too. You know, not a shit one. You know, like
Right.
a shit one would cost you $5 a night, right?
Right. Yeah, you're blowing my mind right now, man.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was this like cheap, overseas.
it is. It is, and like they speak English in Thailand, they speak English in Philippines, so like language barriers not there.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Man.
Thailand, their English is more broken. In Philippines, they speak more fluent. Mainly because Philippines is a former U.S. colony, so there's a lot of Americans there.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
so you go to Thailand, it's not just Americans; it's a lot of Europeans too. So their English is like European sounding. I don't know if that makes sense.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of get it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, the interesting thing about your consume is you like to gather facts, like numbers, statistics, detail. Like, talk about like liking to consume that type of information, like statistics, facts. You know.
Yeah. I kind of how to put it. I don't want to be bogged down with all this like the sensory details. So sometimes I'll just like find somebody that I can analyze and I can tell if they're lying or not. I'll just kind of trust my instincts. It's like, do I think this person's lying to me? Well, what would they get out of lying to me? What's their purpose? And if I can't see any negative intent, I would probably just trust them, and I would trust whatever they say about their experience. So I see like, oh, that's the facts. Then that's what they saw. You know, I'm kind of like Larry on like what they say about the people because a lot of that's kind of personal. It's like they treat you a certain way, but they might not treat me that same way. But I do like to kind of get people's reaccount of things. Like I feel like that's really something special to me. It's like if you go to so and so place, I would love to hear about your experience. Like cool, tell me all about it. Like what was it like? And I'm like it's a picture in my mind is building anyways. It's like it's constantly building it. The more information you give me, the more facts, whatever. I just look at it like information, and then it colors itself more or less. I like to read a lot of like autobiographies, analysis videos. Like I don't necessarily want to look at, oh, in Peru there's this many, this many, this. I don't need to do that. I mean, that could be cool too, but it's not like gonna be the most interesting. I want to hear about somebody else's like experience with it. Their interpretation of things, their analysis. What did they think about it? I don't necessarily care about the literal sensory too much.
Gotcha. So you'll take in what you need, but any more you don't care about. And
Yeah, it might get forgotten. Yeah.
Right. But then the weird thing is your extrovert sensing is masculine. So you probably have pretty good memory when it comes to numbers and facts and details.
Yeah. I can remember certain physical stuff more than I can like the abstract. Like that's why I have to write ideas down sometimes, or like people always have to remind me like of something that happened, because I'm like, well, what was I doing? Like, I have to draw it to sensory somehow. Like, how do I know? It's like it's hard for me to have the memory if it's like nothing I can see around me that reminds me of it. Like, so souvenirs to me are like great. Um, Diaries, whatever, journals. I used to use all that stuff when I was younger, and it just whatever, something in the sensory. So I'll keep it in my mind, like, oh yeah, I got my recount of that over there. I know where, if I wanted to find out about this thing, I did that because I spent time writing it down. I can remember the time I wrote it down. So it's like, that's why I like to write stuff down when I can remember to. Like, if it's really important to me, I'll write it down probably. So that's how I kind of just keep track of it. But yeah.
All right, dude. I have two last questions for you, and then we'll wrap up the interview. Okay, or three questions. Sorry. First one
Okay.
is talk about being masculine, feminine. You were talking about writing down in a journal, and you remembered it. So that's very kinesthetic, like the feeling of writing it down, right? Talk about
Yeah.
being audio kinesthetic. Like learning from hearing and learning from movements.
Yeah. Well, I like the vibe of just writing things down. Like, because it's like your own personal like playground, more or less. You just like take the pen or pencil, whatever you use, and you can write down whatever you want to do. It can be words, it can be pictures, drawings, whatever. It's usually a mix of both for me, and it gets across whatever message you want it to get across. And I can also like, I think the way I learn is like by watching other people do things. Like a lot of things, like even dancing, like it's like I need to watch you do it. I can't just like be, you can't just talk it to me. Like I need you to like do it, and then I'll just replay the video a billion times until I'm matching your movements. It's like it's really kind of weird like that. But I don't know. It's just kind of how it works for me. The sensory is easier to remember, but it has to be something like really going on to like take me out of my abstract world. So I can't just be like a regular, like I don't remember like the birds or going by. I don't remember like somebody at work asked me one time, like I was doing a checklist or something. I was just trying to make sure these few things got to where they were going. And I remember all that stuff because I wrote it down. I made a checklist of it. But then they asked me, hey, on the way back, did you happen to see any let's say Y boxes? I'm like, what? No, of course not. Like I wasn't looking for that. You guys didn't tell me I should be looking for that. So I'm not responsible for keeping track of that. Like why would I keep track of all that chaotic sensory? Like it doesn't make sense to me. But if you give me a certain purpose, I look out for it. Like what's my
Oh, froze again.
is glitching.
I think we're back.
Okay, cool. Yeah, did it cut off before you heard me?
The last bit got cut off. Just the last bit. Like your
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right, cool, man. So that's cool about your audio kinesthetic stuff. I mentioned that you don't care about the sensory chaos stuff, but my second to the last question for you is, you're an IJ, your biggest fear is chaos. Talk about your fear of chaos, like something bad is gonna happen. Like
Yeah,
what is that fear? Can you talk about that fear? Like, and do you have any examples of when it happened, like a tidal wave, like an SE tidal wave?
it's like to me it's like just negative, seeing the negative possibilities more or less. And it's like you hope with all your heart that it's not gonna go that way. But sometimes every now and then, you're right about it. And it's just like, damn, like, okay, that person really did do this to me. This person really did, even though I saw it as a possibility, I didn't think it was going to necessarily happen. And it's just like, yeah, well, that person did that. Let me see if I can find an example that I would be comfortable sharing.
Sure.
I don't even know, man. It's like okay, so like I told you about how things like kind of I just take certain details and I'm like, okay, this must be this, and then it slowly deducts itself, right? So I can see the signs before they happen sometimes, and I'm like, I hope they don't do that thing that they're probably gonna do, and then I'm like, nah, I'm gonna trust them. I'm just gonna trust them no matter what. And then these people, they just, screw up my trust more or less. And I'm like, damn it, I really had hope, but you can't expect everybody to be like you or be, I guess, trustworthy. And not even myself. I'm not some kind of saint, I've made mistakes like that too. Um, just like my younger behavior, like I just, how to put it? It's so complex to me. It's like sensory chaos is like it's inevitable, right? But it's I don't know how to explain it. I'm not even like whatever enough to like explain it. I don't have the vocabulary. I don't understand it.
There was a guy that I interviewed who was an ESFJ, and he said that things are not a problem to him, like the sensory chaos. He said that someone stole like a big part of his car. He's like,
Yeah.
went home, he didn't even feel anything, like not even like not he didn't get triggered at all. Like there was a chaos that happened to his vehicle, you know,
Right.
So it's but for me,
Okay.
I would definitely get triggered if that happened to me because like things problem, right? Now the thing I find
Hmm.
interesting with the stuff that you were saying earlier is you said that it's like a negative. What was the exact word that you would use? Negative
Possibilities.
negative possibilities, exactly. So for me, I have NE, right? So I can see all the possibilities, and I can see all the chaos that's coming from the future because it's NE, so I can like it's like a wide funnel, right?
Yeah.
The interesting thing though about what you said about negative possibility, and for me, what I perceive as positive possibility, is that if you look at the sensory, the fact, the probability of both happening is probably the same, but I'm tunnel visioning on the good things that will happen, and for you, you're tunnel visioning on the bad thing that will happen. And when the good thing happened, you don't even think about it. But when the bad thing happened, you're like, I was right. I knew I was right. See, I told you I was right. But for me, the bad thing will happen, and I'm like, whatever. And then when a good thing happens, like, see, I told you I was right. Good things will happen. But really, if you look at the spectrum, it's the same shit. That's when the
Yeah.
double observer are like, yeah, bad things and good things will happen, but whatever. But
Yeah.
those,
It's hard, man. It's really hard because like that's what I had to like train myself to do. Like I had to train myself to think positively, to see the good in others, and not like focus on like their character as much or like what they must really think about a person to do certain things. Like I don't like to get into that negative zone, but I know that's kind of like I just kind of see all that pretty easily. So I'm like, wow. So it's kind of hopeless. And I'm like, well, maybe it's not hopeless. I'm just like forcing something that I don't believe in for the most part. I'm forcing the positivity.
right.
I'm just forcing it because the alternative is going around life just seeing the worst qualities of people and yourself. It's not a healthy mindset to be in.
You know what? For me, I'm way too optimistic, and I feel like when I did think negatively, like you, like negative possibility, I did better in life. So I feel like maybe for IJs, you need to think positive, or EPs, you need to be negative, in a way, like be pessimistic about what's going to happen.
Yeah, some kind of balance. Yeah,
Right.
perhaps. Yeah.
All right, dude. Do you have any last minute question for me before we wrap up this interview? Like this is your final chance to
Uh,
consume.
um, what made you put on that purple shirt, my guy? It looks very cool. It seems like it matches your whole vibe, aesthetic, whatever. Like, it's a good choice.
Oh, so you picked up on the sensory. That's funny. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, well, long story short, when I was in college, I went to we had a fashion show as part of this course that I took called Special Events Planning and Marketing, and we had a celebrity fashion, or not fashion, image consultant work with us. She was the image consultant for Bill Clinton and a lot of different celebrities like Cameron Diaz and stuff.
Oh wow.
So I got a chance to work with her, and like she was using some of the students as a model, so she picked me as one of them. Um, not because I'm like super good looking or anything, but like maybe they needed a token Asian guy. I don't know. But like, um, and regardless, she went up to me and she said to me, Kendrick, based on your skin tone, you have an autumn skin tone. That means the clothes that you have to wear has to be like autumn leaves color. And he said that because you have a small head, you need to wear V-necks. If you have a big head, you need to wear crew neck. I was like, man, this is like some good shit, you know, like I'm learning like some, you know. So that's why I wear the
Right.
purple shirt. It's like I'm trying to like up my SF right now. And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking back to what like that image consultant was telling me. And she's like, yeah, V-neck, small head, skin tone,
Wow.
autumn, you know, like
I wow.
your skin is dark, right? So you need bright colors, for example. Like
Yeah.
you're probably summer. That's your like season probably. You know,
Yeah.
my girlfriend's winter, so she has to wear like that certain
Darker.
color for winter. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And it's interesting to me. I would have never like necessarily accepted that. Like, I don't care what you think I should wear. I'm gonna wear what I want to wear, you know? Like, but that's interesting. I also wanted to ask you a question from earlier. What was your intent when you were like going to these 80 something countries? Like, were you looking for something or like just for the experience?
Let me think. It's two or three reasons. For number one, um, my dream is to go to every single country in the world. So there's 193 UN recognized countries, and during my 1 year trip, I went to 75 countries, but afterwards, since then I've been to 89.
Wow.
So it's my goal to go to every country in the world, and that's gonna be. I feel like in life, you have two life missions. One is a self mission, and one is a tribe mission. Um,
Yeah.
and my self mission is to go to 193 countries around the world. That is my self life mission, and I'm finding what my tribe mission is based on completing my self mission, because that's giving me all the clues and puzzles I need to complete, or to complete the picture of what I need to do as my tribe mission, essentially. So that's the
Got
first,
you.
right? So that's my first reason why. Second reason is I hated my life here in Canada at that time. I was like really just having a hard time. Like me and my girlfriend were having like relationship issues. I started a business in fitness that just, you know, to be blunt, it fucked up. Like my business fucked up. Like first 4 months I made money, but afterwards I lost all the money I made and I was in debt. And it was extra painful because I had just paid off my student loans. So I was debt free. And then I went back into debt.
Oh man.
And it was because of a bad marketing campaign that I did that made me lose all my money. In hindsight, it was a bad decision, but I've learned from those bad decisions. Um, so I kind of wanted to get away from that and have a clean slate. So I figured, okay, I'm gonna go spend a year, have no life. I had like 3 jobs, work all day, save 20 grand. Actually, I didn't even reach a 20 grand goal. Well, I did eventually because I managed to pick up that blogging gig. So I used that to top up to the 20 grand budget. And after I had, you know, 18, I think I had like $18,000 saved up. I went on a 1 year trip. And yeah, that's that, man. And third thing is I was building up an
Wow.
online business. So I remember I mentioned to you I wanted a clean slate because I was having
Yeah.
such a bad time in my life. Um, I wanted to build something for myself. So I guess like, you know, I'm a DE, right? So finally I'm going to my FI now. So I'm like, I want something for myself now. I might, you know, I was 32 when I did it. I wish I did it when I was 18. Honestly, man, if I could turn back time, I wish I took this 1 year around the world when I was 18 or 21 or 22, because a lot of my life decisions would have been easier knowing what I know based on what I've gathered in that 1 year. Like, people call it gap year, right?
Yeah.
And like, to anyone like that's your age, like whenever I meet an IJ and they've traveled for like a year or long term, they always come back and they're a different beast from the other IJs who have not experienced anything new or like has traveled essentially to like all these exotic places. Like
Gotcha.
if I was you, like 24 years old, what I would do is I would travel for a year, pick 12 countries, 1 month per country. Okay. Pick the ones that you're interested in, but the important criteria is you must go to every continent. You must go to South America. You must go to Europe, Africa, and Asia, and Oceania if you want to. I actually went to all those continents because each continent has something to give you, like some kind of important wisdom to impart. And if you miss out even just one continent, you're gonna miss out an important component of that wisdom. Like Africa, for example, like I wanted to ask you actually what your African heritage was because I've been to so many African countries, like even dangerous one like the Democratic Republic of Congo. I went there when I went there when they had Ebola, for example.
Wow, dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, like Africa, like South Africa is my number one favorite country I've ever been to in my life. I love Democratic Republic of Congo. Uganda has like one of the most delicious African food in the world, you know, for centuries.
Oh, sick.
You're right.
I love Lebanese food, for the record. Like Lebanese food is just the shit, man.
Yeah, maybe you should go to the Middle East too. Yeah, so Middle East.
Yeah,
and like
I want to go there.
Like I said, if you took a year off one country, you know, per month, make sure you hit all those areas, including the Middle East, because then you come back, you're like, shit, like I know so much more about life that the decision I make, it's so foolproof. Even for someone like me that's a DE and someone's trying to like enforce me what's like a better way, I cannot believe them because I've already seen the truth. I've seen the truth. Like I remember I told you about the Thailand and the Colombia thing.
Yeah.
I've seen the truth that I can leverage globalization to upgrade myself in a much faster way, accelerate my growth to a point that it's almost like unfair advantage, you know, leveraging the cheap cost of living in Thailand, the investment opportunities in Colombia, the hiring opportunities in Serbia. Serbia, by the way, has the best hiring opportunities if you want some people to work for you.
Oh, wow.
Like all these are puzzles that if you combine them together, you are like unstoppable. I go to Fiverr a lot and I hire tons of people there because it's so cheap to get things done. Like hiring people from another country, you can hire someone from Pakistan, pay them like, you know, $20 to get like a lot of work done for whatever business that you have.
Yeah,
it would cost you like $100 per hour in the US, but like in there it's like $20, you know.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Fiverr. I was gonna use it at one point.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's like, yeah, double deciders like Fiverr. I think single deciders are scared of it. But yeah. But dude, yeah, man, like that's like if you were to do that, I would love to hear what happened because like that is like you're leveling up. Like right now you're like studying up, which is great and stuff, and you're doing all this stuff. But if you want to level up like 10 times, 100 times, this is it. Like there is no other like
better way.
No offense to TI, but you would be a fucking moron not to do this. You know?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think this is the last straw. Like, for me, like, okay, I'll listen. You know, a lot of people have told me, like, dude, you should come travel, bro. You should come travel. I'm like, all right, eventually, you know.
Yeah.
It was never like I was never gonna do it. It was eventually I would have to, but yeah, I'll definitely see about organizing some kind of plan to do that. Go to all those continents.
And since if you plan on doing it, start looking into travel hacking strategies in the US. Like you can go to websites like Travel is Free or The Points Guy. Like you read all these blogs and stuff. They have all the tricks on like how to like hack travel. So you can go to, it's so bullshit, man. Like people say, oh, it's expensive to travel. Yeah, you're thinking about all these opportunities to go to all these places, leverage them to increase your business, but you're forgetting about the cost of the flight. It's like $1,000 to fly, and the accommodations can cost you a lot. But those people are also idiots because they didn't take into account travel hacking strategies where I can literally fly there for $100 and sometimes in business class, you know, and come back here and like I didn't really lose anything, you know. That was just like one day's worth of wage, you know.
Yeah, but what about the passports? Like, don't you gotta do a lot of passports?
What do you mean? That's not a what do you mean? What's up, dude? You have the same problem as Dave, man. When I met Dave, I was telling him to come to Canada. He's like, well, what about the border, the passport? I'm like, what passport? What's your problem? What's your problem with the passport?
I mean, I would assume you have to have a passport to enter each country, like, you know.
Yeah, but you have the US passport. Just get the US passport.
What do you mean? Like
the US, you have an American passport, right?
I don't know. I don't think so. I
You don't
mean,
have a passport? Like,
I've never been outside America, so I don't think I have one.
no,
So
dude,
just
you just go to the passport office and you apply for one. You show them you give them your passport. So the only thing you need to bring to the passport office is a passport photo. So go to like a mall, look for a place that takes passport pictures, take your passport picture, go to the freaking passport office, tell them you want to apply for a passport. They'll ask for your passport picture and maybe your driver license, whatever. They'll process it, and within like a month, they'll send you a passport by mail, and that's it, man. Then you have a passport. Then you go to any country you want. Some countries you
any
need,
country?
not all of them.
Yo.
No, no, some countries you need a visa. You need to apply for a
Oh, okay.
visa, but not for Thailand and not for Colombia, or
Really?
not even for Japan. You literally you go on a plane, you go there, and then the immigration will be like, show me your passport. You show them your passport. They'll stamp your passport. They'll ask you what your intent is in the country. Tell them, oh, I'm just a visitor, and then they're like tourists, and then you're like, okay, come in. That's it. It's so easy, man. It's such a joke. It's such a joke. Make sure you're in the airport 3 hours ahead of time. 3 hours ahead of time, just so no chaos happens. Things
Okay.
like when you're flying, always something bad it could happen. A delay could happen, but 3 hours is safe. You can't like I've never fucked up 3 hours. 2 hours
Right.
even. If you're a risk taker, 2 hours. I know some people do it in one. I've done it in 30 minutes before, but I don't recommend it. It's scary. Like
Got you. Why is it scary?
you miss your flight.
Well, you said being there before 3 hours?
Yeah, go to the airport 3 hours before your departure date, your departure time. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Not your boarding time, your departure time, because there's a boarding time and there's a departure time.
So be 3 hours early for my boarding time.
No, 3 hours before your departure.
Okay, gotcha.
Because if you're there too early, then you have nothing to do and you're gonna hate yourself. Like unless you have unless you know how to travel hack and you can get lounge access. By the way, you're gonna love the lounges. They have like delicious food. Not the US. The US has horrible lounges. Like the US lounges is like a third world country lounge. Ironically, the developing countries have better lounges than the US. Like the world's an ironic place, but like you go to like the best lounge I've been to is Brazil. They had like a shower in the lounge. I took a shower there. They gave me a towel.
Oh yeah.
And like
Yeah.
I had like a buffet of food. It was so good, man.
Yeah. I love Brazil, man. I think I only know about Brazil from like when I was younger, but isn't it like they do volleyball there? They do like isn't it volcanoes out there and stuff too? Like
yeah, everything. Like
yeah, that sounds so sick.
Yeah.
Beach, yeah.
Yeah. But Brazil's expensive, man. I don't like Brazil. I don't like going to Brazil because it's expensive. Brazil costs the same as going to the US. There's no for me, it's like as beautiful as it was so expensive. I couldn't justify going there. Like Latin America, I would say I'll say Colombia is the best. Like it's like for if you're a single guy, you want to go date, yeah, you're unstoppable there, I don't know if
I got you.
yeah, if you want to invest, it's good. The food is good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in it for the food for sure. Like I love some good food, man.
Yeah, the food is good. Brazil is better food than Colombia. No offense. Like that's the one thing I'll say though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, it's worth it then. Worth the money.
Yeah, but Brazil's expensive, so it's like you have to like, wait. I can't believe I can't believe you. I'm not gonna judge, man.
No, it's cool. No, go judge. Feel free to judge. Like I definitely did not. I was totally ignorant about traveling. Like I always thought you had to have a specific passport for every location that you went. Like, something like that.
You need a specific visa if you need a visa to go there. But you're American, man. You have like the golden, like your passport is like what, the 5th best passport in the world? The best
What's
passport.
The best one?
Yeah, I knew you were gonna ask that. The best one is Singapore and I think South Korea.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why is it the best? Like it can go anywhere? Just about?
Well, how you're ranked based on if your passport is strong or not is based on how many visa-free countries you can enter, or how many countries you can enter even though you need a visa, but you can buy the visa when you arrive, so you don't need to get prepared ahead of time. You can arrive to the country, go to the visa counter, and be like, "Here's the money," and then they'll be like, "Here's your visa." That's it. Or they have an e-visa where you can purchase it online, and then they'll mail it to you, and then you just have to print it out and show it when you arrive. So e-visa or visa on arrival. So the strength of your passport is how many countries has those three factors, because the passports that are weak, they cannot enter the country visa free, or they cannot buy it on arrival, or they cannot buy it online. Yeah. So
Okay.
US passport is unstoppable in that situation. However, the US passport, because the US also made a lot of enemies, cannot enter a lot of countries also, like a hard no.
Well, that's fucked up, but yeah,
like Iran,
understandable.
Like Iran, for example, like Canada and US cannot enter Iran unless you have a tour, like a tour company, like to
yeah. It's all good. I'm not that pressed, but
yeah,
I'm definitely gonna try out Thailand. Sorry.
Yeah, well, if you like food, Taiwan is number one for for street food in the world. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so you can make Thailand your home base, and then you can go Taiwan for food, Philippines for food, yeah, Vietnam for food. If you like Vietnamese noodles, you can go there.
I'll give it a try.
Malaysia has amazing food. Malaysia is one of my favorite places for food. Yeah, man, it's like
interesting.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, this is a lot of new information to like consume, man. Like, god damn, like, how did I not know?
Well, hey, you're 24. It's good now. That you know you're gonna be unstoppable. You have like the competitive edge now.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like consume makes me so much more well-rounded. Like, Jesus Christ, like I just got done reading like 3 pages out of this. Oh, sorry, 3 chapters out of this autobiography. It just feels. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
I would just say I read 3 chapters out of this autobiography, and it's like already changing me. Like, it's like, yo, this information, I got like, you can't see it right now, but I got 1 billion books in my room, and I've never read any of them. Like, I've read maybe 5 total. Like, if I actually went inside these and read these, I'm like, what could happen,
Dude, man, you would be unstoppable. Like,
I'm saying.
Yeah, dude, you would be if you just open those books. You don't even have to read them. You can listen to the audio version. Like,
yeah, that too. I used to have Audible. I used to do that with Audible.
Yeah, dude. No one said you had to read them. You can just listen to it if you don't want to read it.
That's true. I feel like, well, the thing is, I do actually remember these Audibles, so I might want to do that. But this specific book, though, it's a really rare book. It's like $400. I bought this like years ago. Like, you can't find this online, I don't think.
What's the name
of
it?
It's a Royalty by Yaphet Kotto. He's a black, one of the first black actors, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's a very spiritual book, and it was like kind of relaying his spiritual experiences, and eventually, I think it's supposed to teach you some kind of method for something. It's supposed to make your life better, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm trying to keep on, like, every time I read a chapter, as I read the chapter, I'm writing parts of it down, and I'm just like, pretty much just studying this thing, and I'm trying to like make sure when I get to the end, when we actually find out this method, that I can, hopefully use it. It could be useful. But yeah.
Okay, can I have a comment here real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I used to have an INFJ roommate, and he was struggling to read also. No, yeah. So it seems to be a common theme with the INFJs. They have struggled to finish a book, and he's like, he went up and he's like, "How the hell have you finished 10 books, but I can't even finish one?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "What are you doing when you're reading?" He's like, he'll read and he'll like think about it, and he'll read. And he'll think about it.
Exactly. The thinking.
No, dude, you don't think about it when you read. What you do is you read, and then you highlight or underline the pages where like the information that what really resonated with you was there. Just like highlight it and shit, or like write it down on a piece of paper. But don't think yet. Finish the whole book first. Get the whole big info dominant, right? You're not info dominant, so maybe it's a little bit harder. Yeah. Get the whole picture first. Don't make assumptions and process in your head what's happening. Finish the whole goddamn book. Read as fast as you can. Okay. And then once you're done, then that's when you process. You don't process like when you're going as you go. You're never gonna finish the damn book, and you're not gonna like get to the conclusion because the stuff you're processing, they probably already mentioned it in the book. Like it's already probably mentioned like somewhere in the later chapters. So finish the whole, like force yourself. Like when you have that feeling, it's like bubbling up. You're like, oh, I need to think. You go to your head, be like, shut the fuck up, and then you keep reading, and then,
Oh man, that's easier said than done, but I'll definitely give it a try. like experiment
Remember
with
what
it.
you said. You're in control of yourself. Okay.
Yeah,
So when that asshole tells you you got to process, no, you tell the asshole to shut the fuck up and you keep going.
exactly. Yep. You listen to the higher self, most definitely.
Exactly, man. All
Interesting.
right,
Thank you for this.
Daryl, dude.
Appreciate you.
Like I said, this interview was gonna be easy because like our
Yeah.
specific types was gonna be good.
Yeah, light work.
All right, man. Peace out.
All right, peace, man. Thanks for having me.